Hello and welcome to another episode of the Flashback Cartoon Hour. I'm your loving bald host with the most from coast to coast, Nick, the things I do for love, Lascola. And for a very special, spooky episode, for the first time on the pod, I introduce to you guys my beautiful wife, Kelsey.
Hi, everybody.
And today, me and Kels decided to do the cartoon Courage the Cowardly Dog.
We interrupt this program to bring you Courage the Cowardly Dog Show, starring Courage the Cowardly Dog. Abandoned as a pup, he was found by Muriel, who lives in the middle of nowhere with her husband, Eustace Bay. But creepy stuff happens in nowhere. It's up to Courage to save his new home.
Stupid dog! You made me look bad!
So, babe, it's your first time on Flashback. What we normally do when we bring people on here is have them kind of talk about their personal experience with the cartoon that we're doing, and you chose Courage this time around. What does Courage mean to you? How old do you remember being when you first got into Courage? Like, how did you learn to love Courage?
I don't really know. What year did it come out? I don't know. I just remember it being on Cartoon Network, and that's the one show that I always watched. And I don't know. I think I liked it because it was a little scary, and I've always liked scary movies, even when I was a little bit younger. So I don't know. I just always liked it.
That's true. Yeah, we both share a very big, fond love of horror movies. And I guess, yeah, this cartoon really kind of can, we can call it back to shaping our love of horror movies, because this is really one of the creepiest cartoons that's ever been released. It has traumatized so many different kids of the 90s. And another thing is, I don't know many kids that hate this. I've never met someone that's like, Courage the Cowardly Dog. I hate that.
I have. I told
you?
my friends that I was doing this episode, and a lot of them said they hated the show.
I'm going to need names and I'm going to need addresses, because that is absolutely unacceptable.
To be fair, they're all friends who do not like scary movies or horror or any of that.
Mm-hmm. So would you say that you were more of a Cartoon Network or more of a Nickelodeon type kid when you were growing up?
Cartoon Network, from kindergarten, first, second grade. And then I think it went more as I got older, Disney Channel, because they had all the teen shows that I liked.
Oh yeah, but Disney was your jam.
Yeah, but cartoon wise, I think I liked Cartoon Network the most.
Oh, and that is why I married you. Cartoon Network I was a heavy Cartoon Network fan. And what I mean by that was I was a fat kid that grew up watching Cartoon Network cartoons. But no, I absolutely love this. But so let's get into it, shall we? Courage the Cowardly Dog is an American animated comedy horror television series created by John R. Dilworth for Cartoon Network. It was produced by Dilworth's animation studio, Stretch Films. Dilworth pitched the series to Hanna-Barbera's animated short showcase, What a Cartoon, and the pilot titled The Chicken from Outer Space aired on Cartoon Network on February 18th, 1996.
The short was greenlit to become a series, which premiered on November 12th, 1999, and ended on November 22nd, 2002, and it ran for 4 seasons, 52 episodes, and a total of 102 shorts. Each season had 13 episodes. And the original animated short had no dialogue except for one line spoken by Courage, who had a more authoritative voice akin to Jackie Mason than in the series. It was uttered by voice actor Harold Hoffman, who also provided all the other vocal sounds and effects for the short. An alien chicken was the villain in this short, who later reappears in the series to seek revenge, and his sons also attempt to seek revenge in even a later episode.
Yeah, they're great. They have 3 heads. I love that. I love any of those Outer Space Chicken episodes. Courage's dialogue decreased after the first season. This is because the creators at Cartoon Network thought Courage, quote unquote, talked too much and wanted his dialogue cut short. The character of Courage grew out of an earlier character of Dilworth's called Hamilton, who appeared in Smart Talk with Raisin, a pilot Dilworth created for MTV.
And then you told me this the other day, and I didn't really catch on until I had to Google it. But the names Muriel and Eustace are taken from the middle names of Chandler and Ross from Friends. So it's Chandler Muriel Bing and Ross Eustace Geller.
That's
I knew
amazing.
Chandler's because they would make fun of him all the time.
Yeah.
But I guess they never say it in the series that that's Ross's middle name. I literally had to Google it, and it was in part of an interview or something that they did later on, but I had no idea.
And they said it out loud. It blew my mind when I read that. I was like, get the...
Which is funny because I love Friends. That's one of my favorites.
Great show.
And then Lionel Wilson, who voices Eustace, quit halfway through the series due to illness and was replaced by Arthur Anderson.
Mm-hmm. The series creator, John Dilworth, placed major emphasis on audio effects. He wanted to use unconventional, fresh music/sounds in contrast to most shows developing stock material to use throughout their run. Dilworth wished to put any music or sound into the episode that emphasized the situation, whether it was tense, exciting, or especially funny. Whenever Courage takes action to rescue his owners from peril, a variation of the Mission Impossible theme is heard playing. This theme varies with each episode depending on what musical arrangement is being used in that episode. So it's always just slightly different, slightly off, but it's really that dun 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 dun.
Like in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just like, wait, same song from the movie.
Yep.
Throughout the series, the word Dill, or another variation of creator John Dilworth's name, is seen in the background, and a sketch of Dilworth can be seen throughout most episodes, predominantly on the wall near the stairs of the house. Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Will you show that to me after?
I will, absolutely. And I'll post the picture on the Facebook page,
what, his
too.
shadow, or is it in a framed photo?
It's kind of
part of the wallpaper?
Yeah, you know how artists, even when they make movie posters or something, they kind of draw their name down in the corner of something.
Name?
Yeah, well, or some variation of it.
So when you say a sketch, you a sketch of his name.
Yeah, or you'll see Dill up on the wallpaper.
I
or
thought
you'll
you meant
see...
a sketch of a person.
No.
I was
the
I don't
word.
think I've ever
Yeah,
seen
no,
that.
the word.
And then Tim Chai Lai, who voices the reoccurring character of Dai Lung, was one of the show's animators.
So that's the guy who goes, "Oh, you fool."
No stick. You no good ass dog. 2 time. I bet I can make better dog than you. You'll see. Name, Courage, joke.
Oh, the nephew? Is that person?
Yep.
The one we just saw?
Yep. So he's actually one of the animators, but he constantly comes back.
I wonder if he looks like that in real life.
I really hope so. Let's look it up
kinda
real
cool.
quick. Yeah, let's look that up.
A little emo.
What's his name? Dai Lai?
Dai Lung. Oh, no. Well, the person who voices him is Tim Chai Lai.
It does look like him. Come here for a second.
No, I'll just Google it.
He does kind of look like him a little bit. I mean, they made him look cooler with the sunglasses in the cartoon, and he just kind of wearing regular glasses in real life. But still, one of my favorite characters of the show. I figured now we can talk about the voice actors real quick. I will start with Courage. Courage, voiced by Howard Hoffman in the pilot and voiced by Marty Grabstein in the series.
Something smells fishy or my name's Schlinkenhofer. And it's not.
Hoffman had been working in radio since the 1970s. As far as other voice acting roles, he did all the voices in the Courage pilot and worked on the Jackie Chan Adventures and many other one-off roles for Hanna Brothers and Toon Disney. But Marty Grabstein doesn't have many other voices either or acting roles, but he did play several different characters on Law & Order, Law & Order Criminal Intent, and Law & Order SVU.
Muriel Bagg was voiced by Hoffman in the pilot and Thea White in the series.
I've won the sitar contest. I get to play my sitar on stage at Radio City Music Hall. Yes!
Thea's only voice acting credits is as Muriel, and her final time voicing the character would be for the 2021 movie Straight Outta Nowhere, Scooby-Doo Meets Courage the Cowardly Dog. Unfortunately, she passed away before the release of the movie, and the movie was in turn dedicated to memory of Thea.
And what an amazing movie. We'll go a little bit more into that a little bit later, but it was such a good movie. Courage and Scooby just fit so well together, both kind of dipping their toe in horror and just mixing it together. And Thea White was just so sweet throughout the whole movie. The way
she's Muriel.
I know, and the way Muriel interacted with every single one of those characters was awesome. Now we go to the lesser of the two humans, Eustace Bagg.
Muriel, Eustace, slave woman. Your job is cleaning, cooking, shopping, laundry, and anything else I can think of. Now get me dinner.
Also played by Hoffman in the pilot. Lionel Wilson originally voiced the character in the series, but left midway through the third series due to an illness, and eventually died 5 months after the show ended, and was replaced by Arthur Anderson. However, many vocals and sounds of grunts, laughs, screams, and catchphrases from Wilson have been used while Anderson was recording. In the 2014 short titled The Fog of Courage, Wallace Shawn replaced Anderson as the voice of Eustace. In the crossover special with Scooby-Doo, veteran voice actor Jeff Bergman plays Eustace. Wilson had also voiced such characters in other series as Rope Man, Cuckoo Man, and James Hound in The Mighty Heroes, Vincent Van Gogh and Possible Possum on Deputy Dog, all characters in the cartoon Tom Terrific, and all characters in Winky Dink and You. Anderson didn't really have any other big acting or voice acting roles, but Wallace Shawn is absolutely best known as Vizzini in The Princess Bride and as Rex in the Toy Story franchise. So he's the guy who goes, "Inconceivable!"
I said that on the couch the other day, and
Yep.
is that why you said that?
Yes, because I found out that he took over for the voice of Eustace, which is crazy when you think about that for a second, because you really he doesn't even sound like him. Because all these guys do a great job at taking over the role of Eustace and not making it sound like there's a dramatic difference in them.
You just have to be good at impressions.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably do it.
I've been trying. Jeff Bergman is another prolific voice actor who has voiced such characters as Bugs and Daffy in the anti-drug TV short Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Foghorn Leghorn, Elmer Fudd, Tasmanian Devil, Yosemite Sam, Sylvester, and Tweety in Tiny Toon Adventures, Coach Spitz on Doug, Dr. Seth Douglas on Totally Spies.
Love Totally Spies.
And another great Cartoon Network series. And he also voiced Yogi Bear, Ranger Smith, Wally Gator, Mr. Jenks, Lippy the Lion, Dirty Dog, Snake, Fred Flintstone, George Jetson, Ukula the Mock on the Max series Jellystone. And finally, he voiced Bugs Bunny, Sylvester, Yosemite Sam, Yogi Bear, Fred Flintstone in Space Jam 2, A New Legacy. So now that we got all the facts down, now we get to go into the part of the series, babe, where we really go more into our opinions and give some recommendations for the listeners. But to start off, on a letter scale from F to A+, where would you list Courage?
Probably a solid A, just because I like it and I'll still watch it as an adult and not get like sick of it. I feel like you love all cartoons and you can watch them at any point of your life. I feel like certain cartoons I can't watch now that I'm a little bit older, but Courage I still like to watch and it helps me go to sleep. I think every time we put on an episode, I would fall asleep, but not because it was bad, just because I found it soothing.
It's comforting. Yeah, it's a comfort show for you. And I absolutely love that because that's what cartoons really should be. So A, is there any particular reason why you're avoiding the plus on that? don't be afraid to plus it. I might give it an A+. I think this series might deserve an A+. Honestly, I'm going A+. I absolutely
It's because I'm a teacher, and I always feel like there's room for improvement.
Okay. You know what? I'm sticking with my A+, but I respect that 110%.
If things were perfect, then there would be no use to appreciate them, I think, as much as they are. I don't know.
To err is to be human.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think I give it an A because I think season 1 was an A+. But then I felt
you know what? 100,
as the rest of the seasons went through, I don't feel like it held the same momentum. So I feel like maybe giving it an A, I'm like giving it a median range score of all the seasons, because some seasons to me were more like a B or a B minus. And then season 1 was an A+. So
especially
I feel
those
like
2 middle seasons.
I feel like coming in at the middle at a A is solid.
I respect it. Because, yeah, you're right. Season 2 and 3, I'm not going to go out of my way and say they're not good. They're just not at like season 1. And then season 4 really picked it back up too, because I like a lot of episodes of season 4. I think they're really funny. Or a polar opposite where they can get like really deep and emotional for a second and still be a funny show too. And that's why I really like those. That being said, I figured now would be the perfect time for us to talk about some of the recommendations that we want to give to you guys, the listeners, just to check out in case you haven't either watched Courage before ever, or maybe you just haven't seen Courage in a really long time. All episodes of all seasons you can find on Max right now, currently running. That being said, do you want to give the first episode, babe?
My favorite?
Favorite, recommendation, whatever you want.
So not like in order that they appeared in the season?
No, it doesn't need to be in order.
Because I think my favorite is going to be everyone's favorite and the most well-known, which is King Ramses' curse in season 1 with the return of the slab. When they stole the slab.
Return the slab.
So it was about a pair of burglars who stole an ancient slab and were confronted with the ghost of its Egyptian owner, King Ramses.
We'll come back for it when the heat's off.
And we'll be rich.
Hey! What happened to the road?
Return the slab. Oh, suffer my curse.
Curse?
What curse?
And the slab happens upon the farmhouse. And when Eustace is greedily unwilling to part with such a valuable treasure, as informed by the professor in the show, the Pharaoh's ghost constantly demands return the slab, and kind of ravages the farmhouse with all these plagues. And it's just, I remember seeing the ghost outside of the house and just saying return the slab, and it like really freaked me out.
I don't know.
I thought it was the scariest, spookiest one, but also watching it now as a grown-up, I think it's so funny because I feel like it's one of the ones we probably quote the most.
And like you even just hearing it, return the slab, like me saying it out loud as a joke, and it still kind of puts a little bit of a goosebump on the back of my neck. Like I still get a little creepy, and watching it, and like you look at these like late 1990s, early 2000s CGI, but it's just still so creepy, still so amazing, and the episode is just hilarious. And seeing Courage go to battle this Egyptian being, all because Eustace is being a little stubborn and doesn't want to give the slab back because he's the cranky old farmer that we all know and kind of love to hate.
I know. Now I'm trying to look it up. I saw a really funny meme about the return of the slab, and now I'm like, I can't find it, but it was so funny.
So what you just said was season 1, episode 5, King Ramses' curse, and the clutching foot, which is connected to it, which is another villain that I love so much just because of the mobster, like James Cagney type. Yeah, see, here's what we're gonna do. See, yeah. And you're gonna listen to me or the fat lady gets it.
And the big toes, see? Yeah, see? And what I say goes, see? Got me?
Yeah,
got it, boss. Say what? Say what? Say this. Ow!
And it's just so funny. Okay, so the clutching foot. A fungus on Eustace's foot gains sentience and consumes his whole body, becoming a quintet of old-fashioned mobsters.
Eustace! What have you done with my Eustace?
Shut up, fat woman. You won't be needing your husband anymore, see? So listen up.
Yeah, listen up.
Yeah, listen up. We're gonna pull a heist, see? Yeah, a heist. It's Sunday and the banks are closed. So we knock over a bank, see?
Oh no! Gangsters! Muriel, get away!
You can't do that. It's against the law. Oh!
Okay, dog, it's like this. You drive us to the bank, or the fat lady gets it, see?
Yeah, the fat lady gets it!
Yeah, the fat lady gets it!
I knew I should have learned how to drive a stick!
With his beloved Muriel threatened by the crushing extortion of the infectious gangsters, Courage races for a cure. My choice is going to be Season 1, Episode 3, The Demon in the Mattress and Freaky Fred, which I love both these. But so the demon in the mattress, unable to sleep on her old lumpy mattress, Muriel orders a new one. But as soon as it arrives, it is revealed that it apparently harbors an evil spirit, which proceeds to possess Muriel as she sleeps. But the thing that I really, really love about this episode is, babe, you well know that what is my favorite horror movie of all time?
The Exorcist.
And this is a perfect spoof of The Exorcist. And it's really creepy too, because like the demon takes over Muriel, and then at one point like will stop being Muriel, will stop looking, and Muriel will like come out from like being possessed, and she'll be like, Courage, you need to help me. And then like the spirit comes back and just starts messing with Courage again. It's really creepy. They do like the cold air in the room, Muriel does like the head turning around and throwing up all in
Her head falls off.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. It's
Creepy.
beautiful.
What have you done with Muriel?
She's in here with us.
Courage, help me!
Whoops. That one slipped out.
You won't get away with this!
Oh, yeah? What are you gonna do about it?
And so to add on to that, we go with Freaky Fred, which is the beat part of this episode. Muriel's unsettling nephew, Fred, a barber by trade, visits the farmhouse. Courage learns the hard way of how much Fred enjoys his profession. So you find out, Fred's coming to visit his Aunt Muriel, but Fred had recently escaped from like a mental institution because he has like a addiction to shaving things. And he ends up shaving Courage. He shaves like a rabbit. He'll shave anything that has hair on it that he can get his hands on. And he completely speaks in rhymes. He always...
Rhymes are like riddles. Is it rhymes?
It's rhymes. And then he always finishes everything by saying how naughty things are. And I'll play a clip of that too.
Hello, new friend. My name is Fred. The words you hear are in my head. I said my name is Fred, and I've been very naughty.
I can't wait for that wee lad Fred to arrive.
That freak's not setting one freaky foot in this house.
The story I'm about to tell, I tell you I will tell it well, is of my dear Aunt Muriel, and just how I've been naughty.
The freak's a barber, a freaky barber, with his own freaky barber shop, where freaky things happen, freaky barber things.
Voila, the farm. My aunt lives here, with precious pup and husband dear.
It's just fun to say. And there I was, feeling naughty.
He was very naughty in that episode.
Yeah, to the minute, poor Courage, the way he shaved him is pretty gruesome looking. Okay, so give me another episode for you.
For me,
Mm-hmm.
I liked the Queen of the Black Puddle. Like, I feel like rewatching these as an adult, there's a few that like just stood out to me. Like, I remembered them. And I remembered the foot one. I remembered King Ramsay. I remembered the ones you just talked about. And then I remember the Queen of the Black Puddle, which a single puddle remains eerily behind after a rainstorm, and it hides a terrible secret. And after its quiet queen steals Eustace away, Courage dives into her world to rescue him. So essentially, there's this queen girl, and it's kind of like reminds me of The Ring, because instead of coming out of the TV, she comes out of a puddle. I'm like, now I'm like wondering, when did all these like movies come out, before and after? Like, do you think they got inspiration from I know not The Exorcist, but do you think The Ring could have gotten?
I think it got influenced by all of it, because this would have come out in the year 1999.
But it gives me that feel, like, because she comes out and she's all like wet because she's from the puddle, and then she sneaks out of the puddle, and then she goes up through the house and she leaves like water behind her, and then she steals Eustace, and he follows her because she's actually really pretty. Is that why he follows her?
Well, she starts off in the puddle. He does think she's pretty, but I do remember that she pops up in the bathtub. Remember, she comes in
through the drain and through the glass of water. They're like the drips of the sink.
So like any kind of water anywhere, she can come out. And then she grabbed Eustace and dragged him through the drain. And the one thing you got to give to Courage is I really don't think he likes Eustace. But he dove right in after him. Like, he was ready to go rescue.
Because he likes Muriel, and Muriel loves him.
Oh my, I'm beginning to worry about you, Eustace.
So then they went in and he had to go get Eustace because the queen was going to eat him because she really had super sharp teeth and was like kind of crazy. So they had to get away, and it was kind of anxiety inducing as they were trying to get out because the puddle was drying up. So then they'd have to find a new puddle because just when they got to the puddle, it would like close enough. Close.
And it does. It gets your heart like racing. You're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And this thing's swimming at like Mach speeds behind him. And you're like, oh.
As a kid, especially, you're like, what?
Yeah, this show really picks up on your anxiety and just like really drills
Well, that's
it in
what
there.
the meme was that I was looking for. It was like, my therapist says, where does your anxiety all stem from?
Courage,
and it showed a picture of King Ramsay outside the house saying, return the
That's
slab.
beautiful. That's great.
Maybe that's why we all millennials have
Anxiety.
Except for you. You don't have anxiety.
Yeah, I have stupidity. Okay, so that's episode 7.
Do you notice how these are all season 1? Because season 1 was so good.
Season 1 was, I have to agree, definitely the best one.
Wait, we missed one.
Which one did we miss?
Little Muriel.
Okay.
We have to talk about Little Muriel before you go to season 2.
Fair enough. I'll let you talk about that one, and I'll jump in with my Muriel impersonation because I know you love it so much.
Well, Little Muriel, that one is about a tornado comes in.
This is the Nowhere Emergency Broadcast System. We interrupt this program with an emergency tornado watch. This is an emergency. Watch for a tornado.
Oh my!
So we should say real quick that it's it's the final episode of season 1. It's episode 13. 13A is Little Muriel, and 13B is the Great Fusilli.
Yeah, but I don't care about the Fusilli. I care about Little Muriel because it's about a tornado that comes through the farm. And it spins everything kind of out of control. And Muriel comes back and she's 3 years old.
I'm Muriel. I'm only 3.5 years old. Who are you?
Muriel?
That's my name. Do you know where it out?
Oh no! Muriel! What happened to you?
You're funny looking.
Oh no! No! Muriel!
Courage has to find a way to get her back to her correct age. But Muriel is like just so sweet and like easygoing as an old lady. And as 3-year-old, she's a spitfire.
She is a menace.
She's so funny. I love her. And she's
Muriel. I'm only 3.5 years old.
because I know she has an accent too, but I don't know why I didn't really notice her accent until she was
Yeah, she's like
3.
like wicked Scottish as a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
And then like you kind of get it as like old Muriel. And she has it, but it's like really mixed in with the old woman accent. So it's kind of like
No, I just
sweet grandma, and you don't pick up on it. But when she's 3.5 and she's a menace running around.
She's not a menace. She just makes Courage's life really difficult. And honestly, it's very accurate for a 3-year-old. It's really hard to please a 3-year-old, a toddler.
My favorite. So yeah, there's a giant tornado. Muriel got ripped through, like it came over the house, and Muriel got ripped up into the tornado. As it spun around, it turned her back in time and made her young again. But for one of my favorite parts of the episode, she starts crying and saying, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. And Courage is like, okay, I'll make you some macaroni and cheese. And he, starts cooking up on the stove, and he brings it over to her. And she's like, too much macaroni. And, Courage goes back to the stove, makes up a whole new mac and cheese, brings it over. She's like, too much cheese, not enough macaroni. And so Courage goes back to the stove, starts making another mac and cheese, brings it back. And she's like, not enough macaroni. And so Courage goes back to the stove, starts making more, and then he finally loses it. And then he brings it over for like the 5th time, and Muriel looks at him, and goes,
Ooh, perfect! I hate macaroni and cheese.
And Eustace could care less. Like he sees
Eustace is knocked out. He fell off the ladder.
He keeps knocking himself back
Yeah.
out because every time he wakes up and he sees a 3-year-old Muriel, he like gets up really fast and then whacks his head off of a brand new pipe or off of a door or something. So that's great. And then the second part of that, the great Fusili, an alligator named the Great Fusili, arrives at the farmhouse, offering Courage and his owners a chance to perform with him and become rich.
Have you never dreamed of the excitement of being on stage? Have you not dreamed of putting on the makeup that takes away all the cares of life? I am right, no?
Nope.
Oh, I'm too shy.
No, I think you could be a star. Don't you think so too?
Nope.
Just you step on a stage, you hear the applause, the cheers, the magic. All your fears, they go. And then, then you stay forever.
As his dark intentions unfold, he turns Muriel and Eustace into puppets. Courage must use Fusili's own thespian vanity to best him. So yeah, he like sets up in the back of the farmhouse like this like fake stage, and he puts like Muriel and Eustace up on stage and does like a fake like cheers from the crowd, but like they're like it's really like amping them up. They're feeling great. They're like really getting into it. And as that's happening, he boom hits them with like the strings and turns them into like Pinocchio basically. And then Courage has to battle them and turn them back and then get rid of the alligator. And so with that being said, we can move on to season 2. And my pick of season 2, one of my favorites of season 2, is episode 3, Family Business and 1,000 Years of Courage. In the first part, Family Business, a burglar breaks into the farmhouse and attacks Courage and his owners, gaining their complicity against their will. However, he suffers from multiple personality disorder and claims to be a relative, and his attitude toward them changes. And I forget what he calls it. I think he calls Courage Cousin Basil. And then like he has a name for Muriel and a name for Eustace too.
Okay, mate. You tie up the folks here while I keep an eye out for the law. I got the park rangers on me tail. Go ahead, you stupid burglar helping dog. Get on with it.
Good job, Courage. That's a nice tight knot.
Nigel, why are you tying up Mama Mashed Potatoes and Uncle Twinkle Toes? Huh? Nigel, why are you looking at me like you don't know me? I'm your cousin Basil.
So, like, he's a mean robber when he's normal, but then randomly out of nowhere, he'll, like, just turn into, like, this sweet, loving family member, and he gets them all to try, and they go to, what's the big mountain?
Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, and so, like, they're trying to steal from Mount Rushmore in, like, a safe or something, and the cops chase Courage, Muriel, Eustace, and the robber, who are now all up there, and they all hide up one of the president's noses, and the cops grab, like, this giant finger and start shoving it in the nose. Yeah, to pick it and try and get them out. It's awesome.
What was his weapon of choice? Was it a fish?
It was a fish. It was a fish, and he kept slapping people and saying, if you don't help me, you'll get fished again. And they're scared. They're so scared of the fish.
And then the cops show up, and they're, like, asking for him, and they're like, they don't give him up. In the end, they like him. In the end, they don't want to give him up, though, at Mount Rushmore.
You know, Muriel, she's down for the cause. She's kind of like Linda from Bob's Burgers. She's just down for everything. So at the end of the episode, when he does turn himself in, you find out, like, he's still writing to Muriel and Courage and everything because he still loves them like they are his own family members.
But I'm happier now than I've ever been. Thanks to my loving family. Love, Basil, licensed eel massage therapist. A professional massage therapist for eels? Isn't that lovely? But I wonder what the lad did with the rest of Mount Rushmore. I guess we'll never know.
That's a great episode. That one's good, but my favorite one of this season is 1,000 Years of Courage. Due to a meteor impacting the planet, Courage and his owners are hurtled 1,000 years into a future inhabited by banana people. They follow the banana people to a castle called Banana Hala, where supposedly everyone's question is answered. Unknown to them, the castle is a trap, which a giant gorilla feeds on the unsuspecting banana people entering it. Courage must save his owners and the banana people from the giant gorilla. And this is great because, like, you wouldn't know this, babe, but it's kind of like a play off the movie Planet of the Apes, but instead of it being monkeys in the future that now rule Earth, it's the opposite, and it's the bananas. But it still kind of is the monkeys because they have, like, the King Kong type person who's...
Well, they don't know that because one of the guy who, like, leads for the king is a banana, but he's not really a banana. He's a monkey dressed as a banana.
Yeah, and they find that out at the end.
But I really like the guy with the coat. And he keeps, like, opening his coat and, like, to, like, sell them stuff.
Yeah, and I'll play a clip of him, too, running into the gang.
Look at the date. April 15th, 3001. It's 1,000 years in the future.
Psst. Come here. I got something for you. You look like you could use some new clothes. Know what I mean?
Not really.
You know, something to make you fit in. Know what I'm saying?
I always do like to fit in.
Then fit into this.
Why, that's lovely. How much is it, if you don't mind my asking?
How much you got?
I don't have any money on me.
Ain't got none either.
Well, don't look at me.
What you got to trade? Okay, kid. You drive a hot bargain.
All right, so I'll go into the next one for season 2. I will have to say that the season finale, episode 13 of season 2, The Tower of Dr. Zalost, part 1 and part 2. This episode is cool because it's the first two-parter that takes up, like, it goes from one short into the next short. and it like continues the story from the previous short. That's really cool. So an extremely depressed and misunderstood professor named Dr. Zelost is incapable of dealing with his sorrowful condition by himself. Overcome by his jealousy of other people's happiness, he lashes out at Nowhere, firing unhappy cannonballs out of his walking tower and plummets the entire town into a state of depression.
You already know my reputation. I am Dr. Zelost, the greatest unhappy scientist who ever lived. And I want $33.33 billion for my unhappy cannonball project. If you don't fund my project, I'll use your city as research, and that will make the people very unhappy.
So it's like, picture like this giant brick castle with like metal legs are out, and a giant cannon is sticking out of it, and he's shooting these like cannonballs into the city of Nowhere, and anyone that's touched by these cannonballs is immediately like all the colors zapped from them, and they kind of all become like boring and depressed and no longer happy, and he's trying to turn everyone like that. To gain happiness, he seeks economic elements from the representatives of Nowhere. But when he does not experience relief, he refuses to undo what he has inflicted. With Muriel befalling the effects of the unhappy cannonballs, Courage ventures into the tower of Dr. Zelost to undo the sorrow of Nowhere and the malevolent professor. So it kind of gave Courage like a really kind of a big bad to battle. One thing I really like about the Doctor is, do you remember his like assistant, the rat? And okay, so he has this assistant because it's like just him in the castle because he's lonely and all by himself. But he does have a rat who kind of like goes and beats up Courage and does all the stuff for him. And every once in a while, he'll just like make the rat like stand there and he'll be like, "Come give me a hug." And the rat's like, "No." And then he's like, "No, come hug me. Come on." And then he like forces the rat to give him a hug. And at the end of the episode, I think it turns, Courage ends up turning the rat back into a baby, which then gives the Doctor somebody to love and raise. And so like it kind of like makes him complicit and like turns everything back, and he goes away with the rat, and they all live happily ever after for like a day or two until the next creepy thing happens. So that being said, we can go into season 3. Yeah, season 3 I think is I will. I do like the first episode of season 3. Muriel meets her match and Courage versus Mecha Courage. Muriel meets her match. A pair of married criminals are on the run and they camp next to the farmhouse.
I am Maria. My husband and I had car trouble and we moved in your backyard until we get it fixed.
Oh my! Why don't you both come in for some tea?
I would love to, but my husband man was very shy.
With one of them eventually assuming Muriel's identity.
In what clever hiding place do you keep valuables such as driver's license, birth certificate, deed to the family farm?
Well, now Courage, she's our neighbor. Our castle is her castle, whatever that means. We just dial 5.
94!
87.
6! 144!
11.
19!
It's a secret combination. Now, Courage, you can trust Maria. She's a lovely person.
You must share with me your beauty secrets.
Which leads Muriel to being framed and arrested. Courage must then clear Muriel's name.
Which means what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine. All mine.
How lovely.
But Courage versus Mecha Courage is one of the ones I remember, like, Cartoon Network playing this episode a lot. And it's Dai Lung feels that Courage is not a good enough dog and builds a mechanical version of him as a replacement. And Courage decides to stop him by a fight. And they fight inside like a Roman Colosseum type thing.
No good dog. Me, Mega Courage. He better dog than you in every way. Chew boot.
That one's a really funny episode. I just love any episode that has Dai Lung in it because I think he's hilarious, and every time I'll play his laughter too. Every time he does that.
What's the episode where he turns him into a fly?
Oh.
Is that in season 1?
I don't think so. Hold on.
There is one, remember, when he turns him into a fly and he's like, that's not right.
Yeah, that's no good.
I don't think so. I fix. I don't think so. Supposed to be buffalo. Don't know how, but I go back and work on problem. Should be buffalo. Why? I don't think so.
And it's his first introduction. That's season 2, episode 9, 19A. Courage
Well, he's
to
not
Fly.
really in it a lot. He's like in it at the beginning and then at the very end.
Right, but it is his first introduction in that episode that you chose. He is one of my favorite, like, secondary characters. I know that I think your favorite secondary character is probably the computer, right?
You twit. You mean evil shadows?
I don't know.
What a loser. Of course you do.
Okay, you don't have to get personal.
Searching. Search found. One item.
What?
Evil shadows. Ooh, I wouldn't want them in my house.
Oh! Hey, I better stop that. I can begin to like it. How do I get rid of evil shadows?
How to get rid of evil shadows. 1, pleasant conversation. 2, move out of the house.
Are you kidding? This thing is dangerous. How do you talk to an evil shadow?
I don't know. You're on your own, kid.
I've gotta say Muriel.
Oh, I love the computer.
I know you do. And I'm going to play a little voice clip of the computer because he's great too. He's such a little sassy computer that Courage, so every episode, whenever Courage needs to beat something, he tends to end up in the attic and he's typing away into the computer, which talks back to him, but he always calls him like a twit and like insults him in some way, shape, or form because Courage cannot catch a break for the life of him. The only one who's nice to him is Muriel. Everyone else is mean to him. Oh, and the Hunchback. The Hunchback loves Courage too. Do you remember that episode?
I do. All right, you know which character I don't like, though?
Mm-hmm.
The cat.
Oh,
who's in every episode, not every episode, but he's
no,
in,
but
like,
a bunch
multiple.
a bunch of the characters come back.
Who
for
decided
several
he should have been a reoccurring character? Because I find him
so
not scary.
I'm so shocked,
and
you
I
hate
find him
the
kind
most.
of annoying. Like I don't find him like good.
Yeah, he's one of
maybe because he's a cat and
Mhm.
Courage is a dog, but.
And he's like an evil mastermind. He's brought back probably the most. I would say he's Courage's, other than the chicken from outer space and all the relatives around that chicken. LeQuack is a close third. So, like, if you're thinking about it, like, in Batman perspective, it would be like the Joker, Penguin, and maybe like Two-Face. And that's what LeQuack, the cats, and the chicken from outer space. Courage has a lot of thing against birds. He fights birds a lot, actually, and a lot of different ducks. There's like many
He takes care of the
versions
chickens in the chicken coop.
Yeah, that one. That's true. That one episode. but for most parts, it's different ducks that, or not just ducks.
Oh, how about that? Okay, no, because I'm going to get into a whole different episode.
Why?
I was
What's
going to
that?
say when the chicken laid those spotted eggs and then Muriel and Eustace were eating the eggs and they were red, I wanted to throw up.
Oh, so that's the pilot episode.
Oh, is that what that was?
That's the
I'm like,
pilot
that was
episode.
So
And
gross.
because they do, the chicken comes down from outer space, hatches the eggs, and they take it, but then Muriel cooks it, and after they eat it, they become hypnotized. And like Courage has to battle the chicken to get the two
It was so
back to
gross.
normal.
The yolks were like bright red.
And I really like the pilot too, because like the animation is a little bit off. It's a little bit wonky. You know, like this is what they used to pitch the series, and this is what, like we had said at the beginning of the episode, this is what they would show on What a Cartoon before Courage spun off into its own thing. Because all these Cartoon Network shows like really started on What a Cartoon, then spun off into their own series. Like previously episodes we've done like Johnny Bravo, Dexter's Lab, codenamed Kids Next Door, Ed, Edd and Eddy, all those like started off of What a Cartoon. You guys can find the pilot on YouTube. The whole pilot's up there. Just type it right in and you'll grab it, because it's not included with the HBO Max episodes. That being said, I do have an episode for season 4. I have 2 episodes for season 4, and both of these are pretty emotional episodes. They really are kind of deep, especially for a show like Courage, which is mostly there just to like scare you. The first one is going to be
The Mask.
Season 4, episode 6, The Mask. A strange, dog-hating woman of an unknown origin named Kitty, wearing a mask and a white robe, appears at the farm. She recklessly starts beating Courage with various items.
Dogs are evil.
Oh?
Like viciously beating him. Thinking that Kitty is just Courage's friend playing around with them, Muriel invites her over to the farmhouse to stay for a while, because that's what she does. Kitty explains that her best friend Bunny is being held hostage and treated as a slave by a gangster named Mad Dog.
Who's a Doberman?
Who's a Doberman?
I love Dobermans.
Because you've owned how many?
2.
And Mad Dog, who wants them to be kept apart for good. Courage decides to rescue Bunny from Mad Dog in hopes that Kitty can leave so he can return to his normal life at home. Because she's beating him, but she's really showed nothing, like no ill will toward Eustace or Muriel. But in Courage's mind, if he
She's a scary thing that showed up that wears a mask.
And he didn't know. He looked through the door, not like the keyhole, and he saw that she was a cat underneath the mask.
Which made him afraid. Yeah, he's afraid of cats.
Of everything. Of course, with cats like we were just talking about. But this episode is really deep and cool because, one, it tackles the subject of abusive relationships.
Come on, Bunny. Don't I make you happy no more? Or maybe you're still thinking about Kitty. I told you to forget her. I take you from a 2-bit joint and make you a class act. And you want to make me second rate? If I even smell Kitty, I'll bury the 2 of you.
There's like a little bit of I don't want to say like a lesbian undertone, but it's kind of there. And that's cool because they weren't really doing stuff like that. So to push a limit and it's cool. They needed to show like 2 people like that can fall in love. And it was cool that they were able to fit that, and not in like a obscene and disrespectful way, more like the cow and chicken episode. And so this one kind of handled it in a much better, more respectful type of way.
I was forced to leave my home and my best friend, Bunny. I'm lost without her. I can't bear to face the truth that I'll never see her again.
Oh, such a pity.
whether it was or wasn't, but the way that like he's getting super jealous at Bunny and doesn't want Bunny around, and Bunny and Kitty just want to be best friends forever. And Courage does. He ends up helping Bunny escape, and then Bunny and Kitty get on the train and escape off into the sunset together.
You are a brave dog. Thank you.
Bunny!
Kitty, that dog saved my life. He saved my life.
I was wrong, Bunny. Not all dogs are bad. Now we can be best friends forever. Thank you, dog. Thank you for everything.
So that's a cool episode. And then final episode.
It was also episode 7. You said it was episode 6, but it's 7.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Yeah, episode 7. And it's the first episode that isn't broken up into numerous parts, or it's just one long 23-minute episode. It's not two shorts together or anything. It's the full episode is just the mask. That's really cool. And then for my final episode that I think we should recommend is the series finale, episode 52 overall, season 4, episode 13, A and B, Remembrance of Courage Past and Perfect. For Remembrance of Courage Past, I kind of wish, like, Perfect was an okay episode, but I kind of wish they did like the same thing with the mask and just made Remembrance of Courage Past the full episode. But why don't you talk about this episode a little bit, babe?
So this episode is about how Courage is eating breakfast, and what is he eating?
Dumplings,
He's
chicken
eating,
dumplings.
Yeah, he's eating dumplings, and he looks at the back of a milk container and he sees all these missing dogs, and it makes him have a flashback to his own
like origin story.
Yeah. And it was about his parents taking him to the park, and then he got stuck at the park in a fence. So he had to go to the vet. And then the vet kidnapped his parents and put them in a rocket ship and sailed them away. And then Muriel found him.
Yeah. So it's pretty sad. So he got his head stuck in the fence. They had to bring the entire fence to the vet. The vet, looked at the parents and said, yes. And I'll play the voice clip here, too. He's like, can I talk to the two of you alone for a second?
Okay.
May I talk with the two of you for a moment in private?
And then gave Courage, this giant lollipop. And it's kind of silly because he ends up ripping his tongue off on this lollipop, but he gains his tongue back later in the episode and uses it to escape. But it's, these flashback clips kind of have a different animation to them, and it's a little sad. It really kind of touches you in the heart for a minute. He watches his parents get shot into space, and he gets he has to escape through a garbage chute, and he falls into the dumpster. And this is the dumpster that Muriel, a young Muriel who doesn't have white hair, has longer hair, finds him. And he sees his parents shoot off into space, and he's sad, and he's sitting there crying. Muriel sees Courage crying and comes over and picks him up, and she's like, and I'll play the clip. She goes oh, how much courage you must have. I'm going to name you Courage.
Yeah,
and
how
you
he
can
got
come.
his name.
Yeah, and you can come live with me and stuff.
Oh, my poor thing. Out here all alone? What courage you have. Would you like to come home with me? I'll call you Courage. We'll have a grand time.
So now this is kind of playing out again because, because of this, Courage is really sad and he's not moving. He, in fact, doesn't move from the dinner table all night. So the next morning, Muriel tells, Eustace, I want to bring him to the vet. And even Eustace's mask gag that he does throughout all the episodes doesn't scare Courage. He's just deadpan looking straight ahead. So they bring him to the vet, and lo and behold, it's the same vet that shot Courage's parents into outer space. And so it kind of starts happening again, and the vet looks at Muriel and Eustace and says, can I talk to Courage alone for a second? And then tries to kidnap him and shoot him into the spaceship. And this time Muriel's there. She tries to fight off the doctor. Courage fights off the doctor. Somehow, some way, Courage gets out of the rocket ship and shoots the doctor up into outer space. And Courage gets to live with his new adoptive family still. And it's a little bit sad, but it's kind of his comeuppance, because when the vet crash lands on whatever weird planet that he was sending dogs into space to breed them anyways, because he thought they were going to become super dogs. He wakes up and all the dogs he had shot up onto this planet are standing there getting ready to jump him, including Courage's mom and dad, who are standing there with, I love his dad, just looks like Courage with a mustache.
And then his mom looks like Courage, but like with
a purse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And so they all, and I'll play the clip too, because like you hear his screams of pain and the clothes ripping, and it's really creepy. This show was meant to scare. I don't know what it was meant to do.
What was it rated?
It was just normal. It was on Cartoon Network. It has to be rated.
I don't know. Like there's G or like some whatever. I don't know what TV ratings are.
It's usually like TVMA, TV 14. I think it's Y7. Okay. And before we tie everything together and sign off, I do really quickly want to talk about the 2021 movie Straight Out of Nowhere, Scooby-Doo Meets Courage the Cowardly Dog. We did talk about it briefly earlier in the episode, but this movie was phenomenal. Just to briefly go into it, basically Scooby and the gang at the beginning of the movie are doing what they normally do. They had just caught like this really evil looking clown in the city, and as they're about to make the arrest and do the unmasking, Scooby starts hearing that dun 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 dun, but no one else can hear him. So this is
and it makes him do like a weird dance.
Yeah, he does like a weird dance.
And his eyes get all possessy.
And so like he looks like he's kind of being hypnotized in a way, and Scooby just takes off. And so the gang like apologize to the clown and say like, we got to go get him. Sorry, we'll do this another time. And basically the clown like runs away free, and the gang gets in the mystery machine and starts following Courage. What we didn't know was they were in the city right next to where the farmhouse of Courage the Cowardly Dog is.
So they were in nowhere.
They were in nowhere.
Kansas.
Mm-hmm. And so Scooby is running at full speed, and Courage is at home laying on Muriel, and he starts hearing the same thing, and the same thing starts happening to Courage, where he starts doing the dance, having the spirals, and he hears like this weird noise. So he goes outside because now he's being driven crazy. Him and Scooby end up running into each other.
You're a dog.
Uh-huh.
Me too.
Oh.
You hear that weird sound?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Did it go like this?
Wow, 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 wow. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Or did it make you dance? Me too.
And at first, terrified of each other. Then they sniff each other's butts, and then they realize how
They don't do that.
They do. I swear to God, they do. The minute they do it, Scooby lifts his head up and goes, "Oh, you're a dog." It's great. I love it so much. And so, out of nowhere, all of a sudden, all these cicadas start coming up out of the ground, and they're all creepy looking. They have like this green ooze coming out of their mouth, and there's hundreds of them digging up from the ground. And the rest of the Scooby gang shows up, and they start killing the cicadas, and they start they rescue Courage and Scooby. All of a sudden, Muriel comes out, invites the whole gang into the house. She's making them all cookies, and you get Scooby's interaction with Courage, and Courage with Scooby and Shaggy, Muriel with the gang. She's so sweet to all of them. And there's like a really funny running gag throughout the movie that the gang keeps telling Muriel that they're mystery solvers, and Muriel isn't putting two and two together. She doesn't know what mystery solving is. She
just keeps telling them riddles.
Yeah, she keeps thinking they solve riddles. And so she keeps telling them riddles, and Velma is being driven nuts because she's not getting any of these. And we know Velma, she's the brains, and she's getting so mad that she doesn't know these.
So, you're professional riddle solvers, then?
Mystery solvers. We solve mysteries. Giant rubber masks.
Man grabs, bank heists.
That kind of thing. You know the deal.
How nice. I love riddles. Do you know this one? What can travel around the world while staying in a corner? Stamp. Get a post stamp. Always in the corner of the envelope, traveling all over.
I can't believe I didn't get that.
So both crews are becoming friends. All of a sudden, there's a knock on the door. We find out that an invitation had been sent to all of them from the mayor of nowhere. And I love this because Eustace is like, we have a mayor? I didn't vote for him. And he's like so proud of himself that he keeps making this joke. And Muriel didn't know they had a mayor either. So Courage, Scooby, the gang, Muriel, Eustace, they all go to the mayor's house because now they're going to have dinner. This is really cool because they do a lot of jokes to movies such like Young Frankenstein, where like the butler is a little deformed and walks a funky way, and he says, walk this way. And then Shaggy starts walking exactly like he does, just like Igor and Young Frankenstein.
And then his wife, right? Every time they say the butler's wife's name.
The lightning strikes and you hear the horse go.
Fine. I will get the cook. Frau Glockenspiel.
I am Frau Glockenspiel. What is wrong with the food I make? Who speaks this? You must come. There, enjoy.
It's really awesome.
And then like just the whole thing is just like a game of like cat and mouse because like the Cascada monster queen like comes and chases them through, and throughout the mayor's house you can see all like the past villains. Like there's like all these statues and like
it's like a
odes to
mural. It's like not a mural. It's like
a museum.
Memorial type thing. Like it's a museum.
Yeah, you
That's
like see all the past characters from Courage.
Yes, exactly. And the gang's looking at them all. And then there's like a little screen that kind of goes into some of the villains that like Courage has battled in the past, like LaQuack or Cats and stuff like that. You know, Velma's doing her thing because she is low-key the best member of Mystery Inc. And she's noticing a bunch of books about like the land is missing.
Dusty. The rent should clean more.
Wait, Muriel, look. Footprints. Someone's been in here recently. Curious. Look at this. The original land survey books of Nowhere County. And some of them are missing. Very interesting.
But what's even more interesting are all these kooky photos and statues. Oh, man, this is definitely one weird place.
So, you've decided to visit the town of Nowhere. Good for you. 10 out of 10 tourists would never do what you have done.
Oh, I feel so special.
This means you're special.
See? I am. How nice.
Creepy stuff happens in Nowhere. Monsters, aliens, demons, mad scientists, zombies, vampires, and other such perils from myth and legend. Nowhere is also known for evil masterminds like cats or international thieves like LeQuack. From robots to werewolves, Nowhere has it all.
Oh, goodness. I never knew I lived in such an interesting place.
Some speculate that the mysteries stem from a nearby top-secret military base. Others are not so sure.
She's kind of putting together that, like, something weird's going on. And, they're wondering if it's the mayor, if it's the people who
We shouldn't tell
him.
them, right? So they can watch it and find out for themselves.
For you, I'm not going to spoil the end of the movie. Just know that it's
a good twist.
It is a great twist. But I will spoil this. You do find out what has been causing all of the weird things that has happened to Courage from the very beginning first episode. It's kind of like a even better series finale.
Like why
for
does
Courage.
every weird thing happen in the middle of nowhere?
In the middle of nowhere, and it explains it. Guys, that being said, Babe, thank you so much for coming on this episode. I know you wanted to do Courage so badly. I love you so much. I love Courage the Cowardly Dog so much. I hope to bring you back on for another episode, but I'll give you some rest. Maybe we can do this in a year.
We'll see how nerdy I'm feeling in the future.
All right, guys, keep an eye out. Look out for us, the Flashback Cartoon Hour. We are on any podcast platforms. All right, thank you, guys. And remember the 3 golden rules. Save the planet, fight pollution, and as always, be good to yourselves. Thank you, have a good morning, and have a good night.
Then maybe that's why we all millennials have anxiety. Except for you. You don't have anxiety.
Yeah, I have stupidity.